देख अब
Well, before we go ahead, I'm sure that we could go ahead and click a picture of both of you together. I'll request you people to be in the center, please. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll request both of you to please have a seat. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to showcase a Eros Now audiovisual to start off the event. I would now request Ms. Rishika Lola Singh to please provide us a brief insight into Eros Now.
Thank you everyone for joining us here today for this very special announcement of a collaboration between Eros Now and Microsoft. Before we dive into the future, I'd love to take a moment to reiterate all of our milestones we've made on this journey so far. At Eros's core lays the ability to deliver premium filmed entertainment at an unparalleled scale of distribution. Almost 20 years ago, we developed the first fully vertically integrated studio model in India. We combined premium content production with fabulous acquisition and the best-in-class global digital reach. We are also blessed with one of the deepest and richest Indian content libraries in the world today. Over the last 10 years, Eros has been responsible for over 35 of the top 110 highest grossing Indian language films at the box office. The unsung hero, however, in Eros's journey has been our ability to be incredibly nimble and adopt to new technologies. Be it pioneering the home video market at the very start of our journey to creating the first YouTube Bollywood channel, and now pioneering the first worldwide Indian OTT and studio model over 7 years ago. We must not forget, even in the digital age, premium content is still immensely valuable. Our exclusive and extensive content offering ensures that we placate the insatiable appetite of our audiences worldwide. It drives us to continue to be the ultimate source for premium Indian content around the world. Those figures have changed to a staggering 750 million. This drives us even more to be the ultimate premium source of global Indian entertainment. How do we reach this goal? That is the key question that I think must be on everyone's mind. It's important for us to cement technology leadership as well as create and continue to innovate, which has been the very, very heart of our company. Our partnership with Microsoft is focusing on intuitive video consumption, personalization, as well as interactive voice. These three pillars will help us jointly transform the video consumption market together. In addition, we'll also be aiming at modernizing workflows and creating a lot of extensive, unusual customer experiences. In order for Eros Now to achieve this moonshot objective, it's important for us to collaborate with an incredibly primed, powerful technology global player. Microsoft's investments in intelligent cloud, Azure Media Services, as well as your extensive R&D, actually give us great faith and hope that you have faith in our global niche. And on that note, This would not be possible without the empowerment of Microsoft or the formidable force that is Peggy Johnson. Before she comes on stage to speak a few words, we'd like to show you a Microsoft AV. Thank you.
Thank you, Rishika, and good afternoon, everyone. I am simply honored and humbled to be with you here today. And at Microsoft, we are just thrilled to be partnering with Eros. They've already transformed the online viewing experience for millions of users and consumers. And thank you very much for that. Together, we're looking forward to developing an even more intuitive video platform, one using our Azure cloud services and our media services to create a better experience and enable content delivery across devices, geographies, and languages. The other thing, as Rishika said, is we will be developing more voice services, things like video search across 10 Indian languages. So each of those languages really is having a first-class experience on the platform. And lastly, we'll be developing a more personalized, more customized viewing experience for each individual viewer. Together, we really have the opportunity to change the whole experience, and we are just thrilled, as I said. Thank you so much for having me here. Looking forward to partnering with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your vision on the collaboration. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to have with us on stage one of the Bollywood's most handsome man. His charming personality attracts fans across generations, and his phenomenal work as an actor has inspired many. He's not only a superstar in India, but has also made us proud for being a part of mega Hollywood movies. He has done TV series and is also a successful film producer. This man needs no more introduction. Let us invite on stage the maverick star who has been bestowed with the abundant of the accolades, including 2 National Film Awards in his career spanning over the 4 decades. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our favorite Mr. India, Mr. Anil Kapoor. Well, I'm sure there has to be a bigger round of applause, everyone. Well, yes, sir, we would love to have you on stage. If you could just address the crowd as well.
Well, good afternoon, all of you all, and welcome to India, Becky. It's such a pleasure and honor to have you over here. And of course, I'm here as a family member. Uh, uh, Both the Lula daughters over here and Eros I've been attached to Eros as a family member since many, many years. I think, more than 35 years has been my association. And I've been, of course, as you know, that the world admires Microsoft. The world admires Bill Gates and the family and all of you all. And of course, I've heard so much about you, Peggy. And we have something common that we both love running. So that's going to be fantastic. Welcome all of you all, and thank you so much for coming. Without wasting any time, I would like to ask a few questions to both of you all. And whom do I start with? Huh?
Well, before we hop onto the fireside, I
Yeah.
think just because we have all the dignitaries with us, let's go ahead and have a picture of
Oh,
all
picture.
of you together.
Yeah, picture's always there. Yeah? Okay. Yes, of course. Please come. No, you be in the middle, Peggy. Yes. Yes. Yeah, we can go in the front, yes. Thank you so much. Do I have a chair or no? Oh, yeah, okay. Otherwise, it's going to sit down, kneel down, and ask questions. I can. Get it closer. Get a little bit closer. I think they want to. You want to get a little front in the front? Yeah. We look like a serious, uh, you know, techno geek. So I'm supposed to ask. Let me ask Rishika first, right? She's the youngest among all of us. So
Yes, by
Rishika.
far.
Yeah, yeah. So future
You're
is.
youngest at heart, though.
So Rishika, I want to ask you, in this business of digital entertainment, tell us about your journey with Eros. But I've been, obviously, I know you as a kid. You were born in front of me, and I've seen you grow up, and I came for your wedding also, right? Absolutely, yes, yeah. So it's been in the last 5 years since inception, and how technology has played a key role in driving the growth of Eros, and what has been your experience, if you can tell us, yeah.
Of course. The journey of Eros now has been really, really interesting. It actually came up as an idea on holiday when you're vacationing and clear headed. That's when I think the best ideas come. I've always been an early adopter of technology. I've always been subscribed to multitudes of services. I remember the first MP3 player I had was a Nomad. They were kind of Discman size, huge things. And I realized that a lot of these streaming now giants had actually started on the back of strong content. And at that point, there was this realization that, hey, Eros has the world's biggest Indian language library. We say we are technologically advanced, we embrace technology and leadership technology as part of our DNA when it comes to content distribution, that online distribution seemed like the best way forward and very much a natural extension of our leadership DNA within the space. But beyond a natural extension of distribution, what was really important to us was actually to start building a B2C brand versus a brand that is just there every time a film comes out. So how do you create a daily touch point with your fans and your consumers? That's only possible when you're able to build a strong platform that is incredibly personal, that houses all of the content in one place. So that was essentially the vision and how it was born. In terms of the journey, it was exciting, really exciting, I think, from creating the brand to actually creating our tech teams based in San Francisco and Bangalore and Bombay. It was something we built ground up. So very much I feel like Eros now is my baby.
Great. Peggy, can I ask you a question, please?
Yes.
Sure. Okay, cool. Can you tell us about your role in Microsoft?
Right. So I run business development at Microsoft, and you can think of it as the development of businesses, essentially growth for Microsoft. And we do that in three ways. We do it through strategic partnerships like the one we have with Eros. We do it with investments and through acquisitions. And each one of those are meant to be sort of a way to grow inorganically, to sort of bend the curve of our individual units and bring something from the outside in to be a catalyst for growth. And so we look across all three levers and we pull whichever one is most appropriate at the time. Largely it's around strategic partnerships. And since Satya came in, we've had a real focus on that area, partnerships, and even partnering with some kind of surprising companies. Look like we might be a little competitive in some areas, but we usually find ways to cooperate and find synergies and growth for both of us.
And I've heard you're an introvert.
I am an introvert.
Okay. So how does that influence your leadership style, because usually leaders are supposed to be very, you know, flamboyant, extrovert, and you're an introvert. So how do you?
Yeah, it's not. Frankly, when I started my career many years ago, I was always asked to be more extroverted, to speak up more, to be more aggressive at work. I'm an electrical engineer, and it was largely I. My company was. I was generally the only woman in the room, and so I was in an environment I wasn't comfortable with anyway. And but eventually, I realized that being an introvert is actually a plus. You're generally a listener if you're not talking, and that has helped me do my job better. I feel like if I had a superpower, it would be listening. I listen to the customer, really understand what they need, and then help them realize their vision. So it can be a plus, and the world is full of extroverts and introverts. I think we need both of them.
And absolutely. Matter of fact, as soon as I met you, I started speaking, and you were listening.
I'm a listener.
We were talking about running, so and as I have, for me also, it's been a passion for many years. So, when did you start running?
I started running in college, just 2 years ago. No, many years ago, in college, and now I've somewhere along the line I ran further and further distances, and now I like to run marathons, and so I'm working my way through the world major marathons.
Oh, cool! That's really cool. Yeah. Rishika, now the question is to you. How do you think the entertainment fraternity adopting to the new form of change in consumption?
You know, I would actually like to turn that background to you.
Oh,
Good move.
so you're going to ask me that question?
How do you think the entertainment fraternity has adopted to new technology changes?
Yeah. You see, to be honest with you, I was telling you when I met you yesterday that your dad, always has been ahead of the curve, and which is, and I know him since so many years. So, and I remember so many years, I think more than a decade back, and when he's, spoke about, we were giving interviews and everything was happening digital, and he was talking about this more than a decade back. So, so first I want to compliment your dad, Kishore Ji, my friend. Kishore, I call him Kishore, so I can't call him. Yeah, so he's always been had a vision which was always ahead of times, and I'm so happy that this partnership is happening between Eros now and Microsoft, and I'm looking forward to this partnership. And asking me the question, I think, am I the right person to answer that? Of course, okay. Well, of course, for me, because I belong to the family of content. We make content, and mine is a very small little company. My father was in films since the last 60 years. We've been making content since over 60 years, and it's a family business. And he was a film producer. He started as an agent, and of course, from my childhood, besides breathing and eating food, I was breathing films and breathing content and telling stories. And then obviously I was the first actor in the family. So because from the time I came to my senses, I wanted to be an actor, and I became an actor. And as I said, and we were talking about diversity and the which the collaboration which all are having is about diversity. So I was not getting any work in Indian films, in Hindi films, in Mumbai, in Bombay, which I'm talking about in the late 70s. So my first film was in Telugu, which is a South Indian language. Okay, so that time this technology wasn't there, which is going to start. So I had to learn the sound, write it in Roman English, and learn the sounds by heart. Okay, like a child, like A, B, C, D. So I said, if a child can pick up these sounds and learn them by heart. So let me write what is written in that language, which I don't understand. So I wrote it in Roman English, and I used to learn them by heart. Then I had an assistant who would be there to tell me what the meaning is, and the director and the writer would say, this is the meaning. Then I would learn it by heart, and then obviously Hindi has different pauses, has a different rhythm. Working in English is a different rhythm, and working in a South Indian language is a different rhythm, different pitching, different pauses. So how do I get those pauses? Because now I have to have 3 or 4 tracks running simultaneously in my brain. One is the sound, which I have learned by heart. Second is the meaning, and the third are the pauses, and the fourth is where I have to come and stop. So these are the 4 or 5 tracks constantly running in my brain, and that's the way I did my first film as a lead was in Telugu. Then I did a Kannada film. Again, I did the same thing, and then I've done a lot of Hindi films, and then I had to do an international film in English. So obviously, performing in English was a completely different. So when I did Slumdog Millionaire with Danny Boyle, so I said, listen, my English is not very good. No, I said, you speak pretty well. You speak the way you want to speak. And of course, I was a bit conscious. I was a bit nervous that I have to, speak in English. And I have to perform in English. So I worked, and he gave me the confidence. I said, no, you speak pretty well. Because we in India have a certain, our teachers and the way we've been brought, there is definitely a British influence which is there in the way we've been in the schools and all. So I did that in English, and so for us, coming to your question of diversified, because that's you're coming out of the technology where simultaneously it will be done in different languages, and so for us, I think it's telling the story, no matter what it is, no matter what the platform is. It might be theater, it might be films. Then I did television, and now I am creating content for the digital format, which is fantastic, and of course, from the computers to the phones and everything. So things, I think all of us are adapting very well to this, and I have tried to adapt myself to this, the technology, which is the most important. That's the way you completely reinvent yourself. And I think our industry also is on a threshold of adapting. There are a lot of shows being done, a lot of people who have come here who are adapting this technology and the change in technology. We're shooting more, all the films are being shot digitally now rather than shooting on film. And so I think that's the future.
Like, share and subscribe to TV Next Bollywood.